him far away. We discover that Aman did this. Raka is surprised to see him alive. At that moment, they challenge each other, each trying to overpower the other. Raka grabs him, attempting to kill him at the tree. Aman regains his strength, deciding to defend himself. He takes Raka to the moon, where he keeps hitting him, taking advantage of the pollution-free environment. In the end, he turns against him, destroying him effortlessly, avenging his friend. He then returns to his village where everyone is happy because he freed them from oppression. This concludes our movie. If you liked the video, hit like, subscribe to our channel, and activate the notification bell. Stay tuned for a new movie. Welcome to Plot Twist, where we dive into the heart of cinema's most unexpected moments. Every story has a twist, but some twists leave you speechless. Are you ready for the twist? This is the hero of our movie. The events begin in an Indian village, where we find him teaching martial arts at a children's school. The kids are playing around, not respecting his presence. When he returns home, his mother scolds him and blames him for shaving his head, as he is a Sikh. She tells him that his father was brave, the first to learn Kung Fu, and was nicknamed Flying Jatt. On the other side, there's Malhotra, a businessman with a chemical factory. His trucks take 2 days to reach the city because they circle around a water lake. He decides to build a bridge to save time, but the land for the project has a 200-year-old sacred tree. The villagers consider it holy and refuse to give up their land. Malhotra takes his men to the village and reaches the sacred tree, staring at it in wonder. He asks a man's mother to leave the land in exchange for a lot of money, but she refuses because his factories pollute the environment. He threatens her with future troubles. Aman blames his mother for opposing Malhotra, worried for her safety. She tells him his father was brave and died of cancer caused by pollution. Aman expresses frustration at being constantly compared to his father. She gets upset and slaps him. Shocked by her reaction, Aman leaves the house upset. The next day, he goes to school and finds Kurdi, whom he loves. He tries to impress her by showing his skills. He uses a ball-throwing machine and hits the balls with ease, impressing everyone. But Goldie increases the machine's speed, and a man struggles, making a fool of himself. He gets injured and falls to the ground, with Kurdi checking on him. Goldie mocks him by playing a musical instrument. Later, a man meets Kurdi, but Malhotra's men arrive to take him to their boss. At Malhotra's home, he sees him playing with his young daughter. Malhotra threatens Aman, saying if his mother doesn't sell the land, he'll harm her. Aman pleads with him to leave them alone, but Malhotra refuses, giving a final warning. Meanwhile, in a desert, a man named Raka emerges from the sand, fighting off attackers and taking revenge. Malhotra assigns Raka a mission. At night, Aman prays to the sacred tree, feeling weak and scared for his mother's life. Suddenly, Raka appears with a chainsaw, aiming to cut the tree. Aman tries to stop him, but is overpowered. Raka tortures him and continues his mission. As Raka approaches the tree, a radiant energy bursts out, affecting everyone. Raka is thrown far away, and Aman loses consciousness. The tree's symbol appears on Aman's back. The next morning, Aman wakes up, shocked to be alive, unaware of the mark on his back. At school, a student challenges him to show his skills again. He agrees to impress Kurdi. He uses the ball machine and performs exceptionally, surprising himself with his newfound abilities. He accidentally hits Goldie with a ball, who gets electrocuted while playing a musical instrument. A man plays the violin effortlessly and returns it to Goldie. Meanwhile, Malhotra learns the tree is still intact, and Raka is missing. Aman confides in his friend Rohit, sharing everything happening to him. Malhotra's men arrive, trying to kill Aman. Aman runs with incredible speed, shocking Rohit. Despite being shot, Aman survives, leaving Rohit astonished. At home, Aman tells his mother he warned her against challenging Malhotra. Confused by his abilities, he locks himself in his room. Rohit and Aman's mother discover his powers when they see his injuries healing instantly. Rohit tests him further, confirming his superhuman strength. They notice the tree's symbol on his back, leaving them in shock. Aman recounts his encounter with Raka and how he protected the tree. The next day, Aman trains to enhance his fighting skills. His friends design a superhero costume for him, amazed by his transformation. Aman refuses to wear his father's turban, fearing mockery. He adopts the name Flying Jatt. He ventures out to help people, but runs away from dogs, accidentally hitting a child's father, mistaking him for a kidnapper. The police try to arrest him. He attempts to save a girl from harassers, but she mistakes him for one of them and beats him. Disheartened, Ammon returns home. Meanwhile, a gang attacks the airport, taking hostages. Ammon intervenes, defeating them swiftly and rescuing everyone unharmed. He announces to the media, "I am Flying Jatt." Over time, he becomes a beloved hero, helping those in need and gaining the city's admiration. Malhotra's factory dumps waste into the village. Ammon notices the pollution. The next day, Malhotra finds the waste dumped at his house, realizing Flying Jatt is behind it. He challenges Ammon. Ammon prepares to meet Kurdi as Flying Jatt, but discovers his costume missing. He finds Rohit impersonating him, surrounded by villagers taking photos. Ammon watches silently. Meanwhile, Raka survives and returns to Malhotra's company. Malhotra is shocked to see him alive. Doctors discover Raka's blood is black and toxic, amazed he's still alive. Raka awakens, destroying the facility and asserting dominance. He recounts everything that happened to Malhotra. He makes him see the bird yacht and asks him to kill it and get rid of it. Raka promises to follow his orders. The next day, Ammon is at the market and Kurdi meets him. She is very impressed by him and tries to get closer to him. Suddenly, he protects her from an attack. We discover that Raka has arrived at the location, and as soon as Ammon sees him, he remembers the tree incident. At that moment, they both challenge each other. Ammon keeps hitting him, leaving him unable to defend himself, using his superpowers. In the end, Ammon overpowers him and tells him, "I could kill you, but I'll forgive you this time." At that moment, Malhotra learns what happened and scolds Raka because the factory's waste is dumped in Vito. The outsider challenges him. At that moment, Raka smells the smoke from the cigar, and his wounds heal in a very strange way. At the same time, Ammon goes to Kurdi, taking advantage of her admiration for the hero. He tries to get closer to her, spending time dancing and singing happily. Meanwhile, we see Raka relying on environmental pollution to gain strength from the smoke. Ammon dresses up, holding flowers, intending to go to Kurdi, but his mother refuses because he has to attend a charity event. He tells Rohit, "You will dress up and go in my place." Indeed, he arrives at the event, mingling with the audience, while Ammon and Kaldi go to Kurti, who is admired by them but rejects them because she loves the superhero. At that moment, they watch him on television. An actress proposes to Rohit in front of everyone, and he agrees, hugging her happily. At night, Kurti feels upset and distressed. She sees Ammon hitting his friend because he agreed to the marriage proposal. She goes to them to hear what they are saying and discovers that a man is the bird Jatt. She is very surprised and learns that he loves her and could never be with someone else. The next morning, Kurti sees him and tells him that the bird Jatt came to her yesterday and kissed her. He grabs his friend and hits him for embarrassing him in front of his beloved, but discovers she is lying. He realizes he is the superhero. They both confess their love for each other. The next day, his mother asks him to wear his father's turban, but he refuses as usual and ignores her words. Meanwhile, we see Raka at a shopping mall, showing off his power in front of everyone. Ammon arrives to confront him, but doesn't know how. Unfortunately, Raka keeps hitting him, weakening him significantly. We see that Raka possesses greater power than him, dominating him. In the end, Raka makes him crawl on the ground. Malhotra tells him that the environmental pollution caused by people is what made Raka stronger than him. He rejoices in his victory. Ammon is left bleeding and unable to move. When he returns home, he is severely injured, and his wounds do not heal automatically. Over time, Raka pollutes the environment more and more, growing stronger to the point that the water turns black. Everyone becomes sick and suffers from cancer. Meanwhile, Malhotra visits his daughter in the hospital. She is suffering from leukemia, and her condition worsens significantly due to the environmental pollution. When he returns home, he cries, blaming himself for everything happening. He meets Raka and asks him to stop their plan, but Raka refuses, unwilling to give up his source of power. Later, Raka stands in the middle of the city, visible to everyone. Ammon arrives to confront him, but Raka quickly defeats him, knocking him to the ground. At the same time, Kurti asks about Ammon, and we find him at home. At that moment, we discover that he is impersonating the bird Jatt. Raka dominates him, revealing the significant power gap between them. In the end, Raka takes him and flies into the sky, suddenly dropping him to the ground, killing him. Aman arrives at the scene, finding his friend lifeless and crying over him, unable to believe he will never see him again. He carries him, drenched in blood. They hold a funeral ceremony for him, and everyone is in mourning. We see a man crying with his mother, reminiscing about all the memories with his friend, how they were young and cared for each other. Everyone goes to the tree, praying, starting with Mahatra, after realizing his mistake. The next day, Aman wears his costume, refusing to leave the place, determined to avenge his friend's death. For the first time, he takes his father's turban, deciding to wear it after years of refusal. Meanwhile, Raka goes to children planting trees to combat environmental pollution. A child challenges him, standing up to him. Raka says, "Show me your strength," hitting him and throwing